The following film is intended for mature audiences only. It contains adult content, graphic language, and nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. I'll leave it up to you, but you gotta know I'm a software engineer. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'll probably fuck something up. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Hello! Believe it or not, this is where I live. The whole place is a shithole, and I need to replace the entire first floor before I can renovate. But before I can do that, I need somewhere to store my shit. Luckily, I've got a pretty decent sized garden, so like any self-respecting millennial, I jumped straight onto Google, didn't do any research, bought the first thing I found, and then just waited.
3 weeks later.
Is this working? Can anyone hear me? Okay. So I'm going to start building a log cabin. But I don't know how well it's going to go. So this is me just being James, I guess. You're just going to see me wandering around doing log cabining stuff.
So this part is probably a bit over-engineered. I wanted to keep the original paving slabs because I couldn't get a cement mixer into the back garden to be able to build an actual base in their place, and it would have been a lot of effort to dig them up when they're mostly flat anyway. I found a high-strength ground grid base from Wix that was only about 20 quid per square meter, and although the instructions say it can be directly on the floor, I thought it'd be better if the cabin was off the floor so that water can't pool around it and so the timbers don't rot, and over time it should mean that the cabin should last longer. Next up, I need to lay the bearers on the floor. Before I can do that, I need to double up the front and the back bearers. They need 50mm screws every 400mm intervals. So you're just watching me get out the workhorses and starting to clamp them together to be able to do that. Whilst we take a break for Inspector Kitty to check out our work, if you're liking this video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Thank you. Okay, so the inspector's pretty happy with the work so far. I need to start laying the bearers. They need a 400mm gap between each of them, but most of the timber is warped or bent. So you can see me here drilling in some noggins just to make sure that we maintain that 400mm gap. I'm just using a piece of timber at the end to make sure that all of the bearers are in line. And then hopefully next we can start making sure that the floor is flat before we lay our first logs. This next part is pretty simple. The whole idea is to get the first wall logs in, make sure they're screwed into the bearers, and make sure the whole thing is square. So when we start putting on the other wall logs, when we start putting on the windows and doors, everything fits properly. So what you're watching me do here is just make sure that everything is straight, make sure everything aligns, and making sure that everything is attached to the foundation. And now we're ready to start building up the cabin, one log at a time. Here you see me fill up the cabin with the back wall logs, and that's just because at some point the cabin's going to be too tall for me to maneuver logs into it, so I'll need to start building it from the inside instead of the outside. So, slight problem. The weather's changing next week, and I don't know how much longer it's going to take me to build this cabin. So, I need some sort of house for my cabin from my house. I'm thinking of building something like this. Let's see how it goes. Cool. Okay, main structure's done. It doesn't look like much, but I weigh 160 kilos and I can't make it budge in any direction. Push it that way, if I push it that way, if I push it that way, if I push it that way. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is supported, and it's got extra supports. We have these little links here on every single upright to make sure that it's just not moving. It's also supported there on the wall and supported there on the wall. So we're in a pretty good place. Next ridiculous idea. I need a roof for this thing, but obviously it's a temporary structure, so I'm not going to build a whole roof for it. I just need something that will keep the water mostly out. So I've bought some braided rope. This stuff will take about 45 kilos per length. I bought that from B&Q. And then I've also bought some polythene sheeting from Amazon. And then the idea is that I'll put lengths of rope along there, like this. Exactly like this. This is exactly how the rope's going to look. And then the sheet will just go on top of it. And that should mostly kind of work. Again, let's let's see how that works out. It's getting late, so it's time to pack up. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed part 1 of my cabin build. If you'd like to catch part 2, please like and subscribe. And I'll catch all of you later.
Storm Babette.
Storm Babette.
Storm Babette.
Babette has been an exceptional storm.
A dog walker filmed as the forest floor started to move in high winds.